We're back in the Lego City today, and we are starting things off by placing our brand new modular building, the Spider-Man mock that I made a video on a couple of days ago. It looks so snazzy. It survived the trip here as well. I have a new system. After what happened with the Daily Bugle, I made a purchase at Costco the other day. I got 3 of these tubs with lids for, I think it was £23 for 3 of these, and they're exactly the right size for transporting modulars. So I think I can continue with the plan that I originally had of building at home and then bringing stuff here. But we need to get that building placed. We've then got a whole bunch of boxes full of stuff, which is all of the stuff that I've identified that we need. We've got more road plate, we've got more train track, we've got more base plates, we've got some Ring security cameras that we're going to put up in here so I can keep an eye on the city when I'm not here. It is all fully insured, and there is CCTV right outside pointing both at my door and away from my door. And we have a gate and passwords, and it's about as secure as it could possibly be. It's more secure than it would have been at home, that's for sure. But all that being said, it's going to be nice to have some security cameras in here so that I can just keep an eye on it when I'm not here. And I'm not sure what else is in there. There's more boxes some of that, there's a chance some of this might be Bricklink order for some of the mocks and modulars that we're trying to put together and piece together on Bricklink, because at the moment I've got orders outstanding for the metro station, for Cafe Corner, we're trying to part out. The Block Party HQ I've now ordered. I'm trying to modularize the Lilo and Stitch house in the same way as we have the Spider-Man one, and there's a few of there's a lot of orders. I've realised doing lots of orders from Pick-a-Brick and Bricklink at the same time leads to confusion when the pieces actually arrive, because they come from all over the world and they're often not labelled and don't have the receipt in, so I don't know who they're from. It's just a bag of Lego parts, and then I have to try and figure out what project they're for. So if you are a Bricklink seller, please put the invoice in the envelope, even if it's just for the ones that are for me. I always order as Block Party, so you'll know it's me. But yeah, that's the plan. Lots going on. I still need to do lots of sorting. I still need to get road plates properly sorted in. I still want to motorise some of the there's lots to do. I think what I need in here more than anything, maybe on this wall, is a big whiteboard where I can have a to-do list and just actually break down all of the little jobs that need doing. So every time I come here, I can maybe pick 1 or 2 jobs, because at the moment I just kind of turn up and it's quite overwhelming, because yes, it's cool and there's a lot already in, but there is an infinite amount of stuff still to do. So that might not be the worst idea, but let's place this building. And the whole idea of doing it as a corner building like that is because we've got all of this need for corner buildings at the top here. So we've got the Sesame Street, which is a corner building, the Downtown Diner, which is not officially a corner building, but I quite like it as a corner. I use it as a corner in the old city as well. If we're going to keep it as a corner, we're going to have to do something about what's going on behind it. So it's not a long-term solution yet. We are going to have the sit complex that's going to go up here as well. But I think our spot for this new building is going to be here. So if we pop that plate out and pop this in, it does mean that, oh no, each one of these is 2.5 base plates fit, so wide. So we still have room here for a complete building between the Daily Bugle and the Spider-Man one. I mean, we surely have to do something else Spider-Man themed, don't we? And have a little Spider-Man street. But I think that looks really cool just there. Doesn't look out of place at all. I like it a lot. I like the fact that we can see all the detail on the front of it, but it then does turn around into the street. This is probably the style of corner modulars that I actually want to use all the way along here. As much as I love the Downtown Diner, it probably isn't going to do that job. And we might have to move up maybe something like the Boutique Hotel or Tudor Corner, the Palace Cinema. There's a lot of stuff we've got down here at the moment. There's too many corners in the city and not enough corner buildings. There it is over there, and I think that does look really cool. We just need to get another building in between them now. What could we put in between there just so we can have like a complete street? In fact, I might move the Jazz Club, because on my original design, I forgot the Jazz Club existed and it was kind of excluded. So we could potentially put the Jazz Club in there, and then we get the feel for a full street. even though we've obviously not done the roads properly yet. We've just got placeholders in. And I know all the minifigs are lying down and not positioned properly. It's something I'm working on. But we could, let's pop the Jazz Club in there. So if we pull that plate out as well, just move you back for a minute. And this is the reason that I don't use the Technic pins to connect the buildings together, because they all move so often that I've just seen the base plate is coming away from the Mills plate on the Daily Bugle. That's not ideal. That's probably why it collapsed before. But yeah, because I'm going to be moving stuff around so often, nothing is permanent. I doubt anything ever will be permanent. I'm ripping up a base plate down here as well. The downside of Mills plates, if you just grab a corner that's not properly secured, they explode on you. So that can come up here. If we put that facing what we've got opposite it there, and then this slots in there. Because I redid the curbs for the Shelf City, I'm gonna have to change all the curbs back again, because I was doing like these double wide streets which had the curbs on there. So I took the curb edging off of all of the modulars, and now I think we're going to be doing narrower roads, so we're going to have to put curbs back in again. But there we have a street. We're probably going to have to change out the diner. So the question I'm now wondering is, are those single widths wide enough? Or do we need to go double width? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Is that enough of a gap between the two of them to actually be able to see the buildings that are in there? Obviously, still lots of changes, lots to do. But I think, importantly, this building looks really, really cool just there. And we could potentially, when we do it, put the sit complex backing onto it, and we have this whole area here starting to look like a little New York City block, which again, will be pretty cool. So now that's done, let's have a look to see what's in these boxes. I think this is the Ring cameras. These were on the Amazon spring deals at half price. They're the indoor ones, £25 each. I imagine by the time this video comes out, those deals will be over. But we do have an Amazon affiliate link, so if you ever are shopping on Amazon, we'd really appreciate you using our link. But yeah, £25 each for those. We'll just stick one in that corner, one in that corner, and it's just a little extra bit of security that's certainly not going to do any harm. And weirdly, by a separate package, they also sent some stickers to tell people we've got security cameras, which I'm probably not going to do, because I don't know if I'm allowed them in here, to be honest. So I don't want to advertise it from outside of the door. Right, next box, which is another Amazon one. Right, I'm a naughty boy. Don't tell Lego. These are temporary placeholders. The plan eventually is to have only official Lego base plates in the city. However, we need 200 base plates and they're £8 each. And we don't have that kind of money just yet. So for now, as placeholders, we've got some off-brand ones, which are a bit rubbish. They don't have the same kind of grip. So even if it wasn't just for the, I want it all to be official Lego thing, they're not as good as the Lego ones. So they will need replacing, because they're going to lead to eventually stuff getting broken. And that's not ideal. We don't want that at all. I don't even know what this one is. Are these bigger base plates maybe? So we've got a load of half ones. And I think we've got some bigger ones as well. But this is really just so that I can continue to plan out the city. And then eventually, yeah, eventually they will all be replaced. So again, some cheap knockoff ones, which will do as a temporary solution. But certainly, if you're operating on a smaller city, I would go with the official ones, because having tried the third-party ones before, I'm yet to find one that actually has the correct grip strength. So I will be replacing them all with official ones as and when things like double points events happen and Patreon milestones are hit, and if we ever find ourselves flush with cash, that's when we'll invest in base plates and gradually replace them all for official ones. This box is from Lego directly. Don't know what's in it. Aha! This is Pick-a-Brick. Okay. So this is a whole bunch of Pick-a-Brick specifically for the making of Mills plates. So we have got loads of Technic bricks in there because I didn't have very many of those, and loads of 16 by 16 plates in various colours. We've got green, blue and grey, so we can make a start on green areas, blue areas, grey areas, then the main colours that we need. And I think this was enough to qualify me for the gift with purchase that Anna wanted. They did that. What was the gift with purchase? It was like a botanicals one. I think you had to spend £135, so I spent exactly £135 on bits that I needed because Anna wanted that gift with purchase. So that stuff will come in very handy for the making of Mills plates. Do need to make sure that I use the official Lego base plates when I make a Mills plate, because if I don't, that leads to a whole kerfuffle. The off-brand ones are literally the placeholder ones for stuff like this, just to basically space stuff out, and the official Lego ones that are currently doing that job will come out and become Mills plates that will then live in the city long term. There's a method to the madness. So that means this box should be road plate and train track, I think, unless I've ordered something else and forgotten about it, which there's always the possibility of doing that. So we have a gift with purchase. What on earth is that? That is, actually it's quite nice when it opens. That's bananas. That can be for Anna. I don't think I'll need to build that. I didn't realise they would glow in the dark. Have they always been glow in the dark? So we have 3 boxes of roads. The amount of money I've spent on road plates. My word. We've got some road plates so that we can finish the road going down that way. That's still not going to be all the road plates we need, because we're going to need them here and over there eventually, but this will allow us to fully road plate the top, I think, if my calculations are right. And then 2 more boxes of train track with what I've already got should be enough for us to put the 3rd track in that will connect this to this, I think. There's a chance we might need more of that as well at some point. I never realised I would be spending so much money on base plates, road plates, train track, and comparatively so little on actual Lego sets at the moment. There we go, we've got the cameras in. One over there pointing out of the room, one over there pointing at the door. All set up on my app as well. We're just installing an update. I've also just ordered a couple of magnetic wall mounts for that exact reason, because the one that was up here has just fallen down. It's not really designed to just stand randomly places, so we'll just put that down on the table for now. It's now down there, but we'll just have it mounted to the metal walls via magnetic wall mounts. So that'll be sorted in a couple of days, which is a big plus. And now I can get the rest of my roads in. Before I do that, one other thing to show you. This month's Lego City magazine. Look what's with it. Anna loves sharks, so we're going to get a couple of sharks swimming around the city as well. Road assembly time! I said in the video before, I cannot believe how much I've had to spend on road plates. I think we went through like 4 boxes in this video, but we're coming up with prototype 1. So that is the plan for what road will be like. So we've got some of those little half base plates that I bought. So we go half base plate, plate, and then road, and then obviously fill the gaps in on the roads, which that is then the right length. 2.5 base plates. I've had to cut base plates like a monster, but we're going to swap out on that road we just made and see if it actually looks good with finished. I mean, not close to finished. There'll be a better long-term solution than this, but see how it looks. So I've pulled those out, which leaves us with a big gap, which we can then theoretically slot that into. And then obviously we've not got the curbs on some of these buildings, like I was saying before, and we haven't got the join up to the roads. There's still a lot more detailing to do, but if you ignore those details, I think it looks pretty good. I don't know that it necessarily needs to be any wider. It does look a little bit weird where the curb's not in, but if you focus on where it is outside the Daily Bugle, it's just the right height to go beneath the curb. Gives us a little bit of a curb. I like that. I think that works. This is what I was saying about the cheap base plates and why we're going to have to replace them after a while. They don't even sit straight. Don't know if you can see that that's moving. The cheap base plates may not have been the best idea, but they'll help me test some concepts out for now. I don't want to be cutting real base plates if I don't have to. And actually, I won't have to, because with a little bit of forethought, we could have gone with 3 half base plates and just included the train track on it. In fact, I've just found one of them going through a drawer. Where was it? Here. So you could do something like that, and you don't even then have to cut the base plate. So that's why we got the cheap ones, because we can ruin them and then use proper ones when we don't ruin them. In other news, I just found this drawer that's full of train track. We've got so much train track now. We need to get this additional line in, but I also need to get these roads in. So many little jobs to do.
So now it's time for prototype number 2, which is going to include the train track. I can't believe I didn't think of doing this the first time round, but this is why I buy experimental stuff.
Right, we have the next version, much improved, with the train line built in at the top. No need to cut base plates. Much more sturdy. I've added in more supporting plates as well, so it's not got that bounce on that it had before. I think this might be what we go with. I've tried to include some of the crossings to just basically make my plates go a little bit further. I've got so many of these and I'm limited on these. And I've also used these little slope bits at the end. I think probably we'll end up with a fence actually separating the train line from the road, and the road will end a bit more properly. But for now, we've put those in just to save these pieces, because I've only got a few of those left. So I think I'm probably going to run out of those before I can get all my roads done. But quite happy with that. Does mean I'm going to have to rip up some of the train track, but I was going to have to do that anyway, because across that back wall, none of it's got base plates under it anyway. So that was only ever a proof of concept. Concept proved, train track fits. Now we need to get some base plates under it. Worryingly, it doesn't seem to line up quite right, which means I've got some of my distances wrong somewhere. I just don't know where. I mean, there. This is why we need all the base plates, so we can get our distances exactly right, because that join should not be part way down this plate, unless I've got something wrong somewhere. Yeah. Right, I've continued to fiddle. We've blocked out the area where our Lion Knight's Castle medieval area is going to go. I think I need 4 base plates by 3.5 base plates for that. So that whole area is going to go right up to the edge of this, and it's going to be raised up a little bit. I plan on having that as like a little bit of a hill. I've got my big ugly rock plates over in a drawer somewhere, and we're just probably going to raise it up maybe that far, and then have Lion Knight's Castle up on that hill, and the train can run past it. So I've now attached all of those base plates together to make sure my distances are exactly right, and attached the train track to base plates where I can. You can't really attach it on the corners, certainly not without ballasting it, and I do not have enough parts to ballast at the moment, so that can be a thing that goes on the whiteboard for much further in the future. But with all of that actually spaced out properly, pinned down properly, this road does now fit perfectly. We've got 2 base plates of gap here, which will give us 2 rows of buildings. And as you can see, this is the base plate with the built-in train track that we made before, and it lines up absolutely perfectly. So Lego maths does work, boys and girls. Obviously, there's a lot of fiddling and detailing that will need to be done on the roads on all sides, but at least we now know it fits and it works. And I think this is a perfectly acceptable placeholder road design. So I'm going to do a bunch of them and try and at least get base plates under the train track all along, just to make sure it is properly spaced out everywhere, connected together everywhere, because very soon I would quite like to power my trains, because I do have the parts I need to be able to motorize the downtown streetcar, which I still haven't actually done. And then, of course, we could get this one motorised as well. I'm probably not going to set up the additional track today, even though I've got it. And the reason for that is somewhere I have switch track, which I wasn't planning on using, but I'm now looking under here and thinking, rather than having 2 disconnected train lines down the bottom here, we could potentially have a switch under there. So the train from here can go over to here or over to the beach and basically allow us to have our trains connected together on this bottom row. But that is going to involve a lot more thought and a lot more planning. So we're keeping that train track in its box for today. Today's plan becomes road. I've probably got about an hour before I need to head home. Let's see if we can get this road and track on the top level in.
And as part of that, I want to welcome you to a new feature, which I'm going to lovingly call Kev Rips Up the Entire Lego City and pretty much starts again, which I suspect is going to be a recurring feature. You can see I am putting together some more of these roads, but then I randomly decided, actually, you know what? I'm going to detail them and connect them into the main road properly and do a little bit of a T-junction. But if I'm going to get the T-junction set up, I really need to get some more modulars up here. So as you can see, I'm slowly but surely disassembling the lower level completely, including climbing on the tables, which we'll get to that in a little while, and that's not necessarily the best idea I've ever had, but we've pretty much moved everything up from the bottom, and there's more to go up there as well as I work down adding in the new road and rail plates, swapping over the rail to make sure it's properly connected underneath, and adding blocks up onto that top level.
And I think we'll call that a very productive hour because I've changed everything. We've taken almost everything off of this bottom level and left no gaps at the top, and basically just tried to get a feel for what it's going to look like as a city. And goodness me, does it look awesome. So we've got all of the track, certainly all the track as far as the buildings go is now secured in on base plates. There's still this bit at the end here that I just don't have time to do today. That can wait for another day. And obviously we need to do a lot of the detailing around the curbs, sort out the minifigures. This is by no means final building placements. There's going to be so much moving around of buildings as time goes on, not least because I've got at least 4 more that are going to be going in over the next couple of weeks that are in various stages of production at home. But what I have done is set our little T-junctions up. That was relatively easy to do. So they're in, and I think look quite cool. Obviously, we don't have all of these curb pieces yet, and I need to sort all of the curbs for all the way along, but I think this is as far as modulars are going to go on this top part. Like I say, not necessarily that combination of buildings, but that's the area that I plan to be full of modulars. This section here is going to be the expansion, the expanded version of the X-Mansion that's going to be over, I mean, I'm planning on making it wider, taller, adding a basketball court, putting it inside a gated off community. It's going to fill from train track to train track, probably 2.5 base plates, right? It's going to be a big area set aside to the X-Mansion. I'm an X-Men guy. And then the loop coaster will go in there and we'll fit other rides and stuff around that. This section down here is very much up in the air for now. Obviously, as we add more buildings in, there's literally no more room on the top there other than we've got a little space for a half modular, so I can work on a half modular. I've got a few of those ready to go at home, so I can get one of those done just to fill that gap so we can see what it's like properly full. But the next building that goes in is going to have to go on this layer down here because there's nowhere else at the top for them to go. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the next building in will be down here. It just means something will have to move down here. What I'm actually tempted to do the next time I'm here, I know I've attached these boards together, which is going to make it a slightly, I've got to decide what's the most annoying scenario. Disassembling the tables and just moving this table out of the way while I do all the detailing on the top, all of the curbs, all of the minifigure placement, all of the train track stuff. Or is it more annoying this table being in the way while I do all that stuff? Is this going to hold my weight? I've crawled on it a little bit today. It feels very solid and very secure, but we might just move the tables for the day, sort all of that, move them back again, and then start working on this bottom layer. But that is infinitely better than I thought it was going to be at the end of today. I love how that looks, even with no real thought put into placement. It's very randomly sorted. We've got middle modulars as end modulars. We've got, there's no logic to it. It is just placed in the order that I found them, but it looks great. I absolutely love that. And certainly by the end of my next session in here, I should have the train track complete, base plates covering this entire top area, so I can start doing things like maybe getting the Lion Knights Castle and the loop coaster in, 2 big builds I've wanted to do forever, and we can now finally do them, and we have spaces set for them to go. We might even do both of them before we even do this bottom level. We'll see. I need that whiteboard, We need the whiteboard. But for today, I am delighted with how that's looking. If you've enjoyed the video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on it for me. Obviously, leave your feedback down in the comments for all of the things I've done wrong, all of the things you'd change. And if you're feeling really nice, tell me how good it looks. But I'm delighted with it. I think it looks great. And thank you very much for watching.